Welcome back to the Kacee Show. We have breaking news. Last night there was an airstrike committed by the U.S. and U.K. against a northern militant group in Yemen called the Houthis. The militant group is funded by Iran, and the attack is due to several U.S. cargo ships being invaded by this group. The Houthis are attempting to block the Red Sea so no cargo ships are able to get through, and that affects the U.S., U.K., and several other countries who have imports and exports that go through there. So we're going to explain everything that led up to this Red Sea crisis and why the United States and several other countries are involved, and how this also relates to the Israel and Hamas conflict back in October. Now, the ship successfully intercepted 3 land attack cruise missiles and several drones launched by the Houthis in Yemen. They were heading towards Israel, and this marked the first defense action marked by the U.S. military in support of Israel since the outbreak of the war. Now, subsequently, the reports revealed that the USS Carney had actually shot down 4 cruise missiles and 15 drones. Additionally, Saudi Arabia intercepted another missile in a separate incident on October 27th of 2023. 2 loitering munitions were fired towards Israel from the southern Red Sea. Although one hit a building in Taba, Egypt, injuring 6, the other was shot down near Nabwela, Egypt. Further incidents unfolded in November of 2023, including an alert in Eilat on October 31st about hostile aircraft from the Red Sea. The Aero system successfully intercepted a ballistic missile, and the Air Force intercepted cruise missiles. Notably, an F-35I Adir jet shot down a cruise missile, marking the first use of an Aero system in the Israel-Hamas war, and the first instance of space warfare in history. On November the 1st, the IDF intercepted an air threat from Yemen south of Eilat. A US MQ-9 Reaper drone was shot down off the coast of Yemen on November the 8th. Then the very next day on the 9th, the Houthis fired a missile towards Eilat, intercepted by an Arrow-3 for the very first time. So the conflict continued, and missiles aimed at Eilat were intercepted by Arrow missiles on multiple occasions. And the USS Thomas Hudner shot down drone attacks launched from Yemen. So then you flash forward to November 30th. Saudi media reported that an Israeli airstrike causing an explosion at Houthi arms depot in Sana'a, Yemen. Though Houthi officials did deny this at first, it attributed to the explosion to the remnants of the Yemen civil war. So December 6th was yet another eventful day. The Houthi movement initiated a series of impactful actions, launching numerous ballistic missiles towards Israeli military outposts situated in Eilat. And then simultaneously, the USS Mason responded by intercepting a drone launch from Yemen. Its intended target shrouded in uncertainty, and this complex narrative continued to unfold. By the 10th of December, the French's Navy frigate Languedoc, strategically positioned in the Red Sea, intercepted 2 drones initiated from Hodeidah, a port under control by Houthi. So you can start to understand the intensity and how this is escalating very quickly. Then just 6 days later, on the 16th, reports indicated that the U.S. Navy successfully neutralized a staggering 14 drones. Concurrently, the Egyptian Air Defense Forces intercepted an unidentified object in the vicinity of Dahab. As the world watched, the intricate dance of military maneuvers persisted. So 2 days later, on December 18th, the Indian Navy then entered the narrative by stationing their destroyer, the INS Kolkata, in the Gulf of Aden, a strategic move aiming at enhancing maritime security. Notably, INS Kacee had already been deployed in the region to counter the persistence of these Somali pirates, and intriguingly, the government of India maintained a discreet silence regarding its potential involvement in what we call as Operation Prosperity Guardian. So fast forward to December 26th, there was a witness of declaration of Houthis claiming responsibility for drone attacks targeting Eilat and other regions of Israel. Responding to this provocation, the U.S. exhibited its military prowess by intercepting 12 drones and 5 missiles. The IDF also asserted its capabilities by shooting down a projectile originating from Yemen. This was directed at Israel, soaring over the Red Sea near the coast of Sinai Peninsula. And the echoes of these events reverberated across the geopolitical landscape, leaving a complex tapestry of strategic actions and counteractions in their wake. Then you move ahead to January 4th of this year, mere hours following a stark warning from the Houthi movement, made a decisive move by launching an unmanned surface vessel, the USV, towards both the U.S. and the commercial vessels. However, the outcome unfolded with a detonation well over a nautical mile away from the targeted ships, marking a moment of tension and strategic maneuvering on the high seas. As tensions continued to escalate on January the 7th, the Houthi movement issued a statement asserting that the retaliatory attacks against the U.S. Navy would persist unless the United States handed over Navy service members implicated in the killing of 10 Houthi attack boat personnel. Now, the demand was clear. The Houthi leadership sought trial proceedings in Yemen. So then it took another dramatic turn on January the 10th as the Houthis orchestrated a large-scale attack against prominent vessels. This included the Dwight D. Eisenhower, the USS Gravely, there was the USS Laboon, and I believe there was the HMS Diamond. So them making this ballsy move saw the launch of at least 21 UAVs and missiles, amplifying the complexity of the situation in maritime domain, which is a lot different than U.S. laws. Just 2 days ago, on January the 12th, the United States and the United Kingdom jointly executed airstrikes over a dozen Houthi targets in Yemen. This garnered support from various allied nations. This military response unfolded merely hours after a Houthi leader declared that any American attack on its forces would not go without a response. These strikes marked the first instance of targeting Houthi-controlled areas in Yemen since the initiation of the Red Sea crisis. The aftermath of these airstrikes revealed a substantial impact with more than 150 munitions and Tomahawk missiles striking 28 locations with Houthi-controlled territories. The Houthi claim of 5 casualties, 5 fighters killed, and 6 injured. This added a dimension to the unfolding of the events, and swiftly the following day, the United States then executed another targeting strike, this time on a Houthi radar site in Sana'a, underscoring the dynamics of ongoing a conflict with strategic responses employed. So that's a timeline of what's happened the last few months and how this has escalated to the conflict that it is today. And like I said earlier, Operation Prosperity Guardian was what Joe Biden and the United States signed off on. It was also included with the United Kingdom. They partnered up and they decided to bomb Yemen. And it was actually reported that at first, they wanted to make it seem like there were, a lot of innocent civilians there. But it turned out what the United States and United Kingdom bombed was an empty facility. Reports are coming in now and saying that it wasn't even an active military base. But the idea is essentially open up the Red Sea routes, which are vital for the United States, United Kingdom. So many imports and exports come out of there, and that has to be opened up. The Houthis were attempting to put a blockade up and not allow any sort of cargo ships to go through. It originally started, like I said, when they decided to stop U.S. cargo ships. Some political commentators and even congressmen have gone as far to say that these attacks were illegal on the United States to do. Firstly, they said that Congress has to be given a 3-day notice in advance for these attacks to occur. Others have said that a ruling in 2001 doesn't necessarily enforce these rules and really allows the executive office to give it a go when it comes to war whenever they want to. And it wasn't just necessarily to stop the United States and the UK. Well, it was really because they have conflicts with Israel. That was the main fundamental ideology. And when you think about, who stands behind Israel, who is hell-bent on protecting them? The United States, United Kingdom. I'll show you proof of that right here. We'll pull up my Twitter, and I'll show you how South Africa has ruled Israel's retaliation on the Palestinians in Gaza as a genocide. And what's funny is that 70-plus countries actually stand behind them ruling this a genocide. But look at the countries who don't. We're going to pull this up right here. So these are the countries supporting South Africa's claims of genocide against Israel. Bolivia, Belgium, the Maldives, Venezuela, Namibia, Afghanistan, Albania, Azerbaijan, Bahrain, Bangladesh, Benin, UAE, Brunei, Algeria, Chad, Indonesia, Monaco, Palestine, Gambia, Guinea, Iraq, Iran, Cameroon, Qatar, Kazakhstan, Lebanon. The list goes on and on. Egypt, Turkey, Yemen, Jordan. I couldn't even read all those. But you can see, but look at the other side. You see the United States and United Kingdom are the only ones denying Israel's claims of genocide. So it's a little weird, don't you think? So here we have the official video of Operation Prosperity Guardian. So you can hear the explosions. So in regards whether this was a legal attack or not, there's something called the War Powers Resolution. I actually tweeted this out last night. So here's what it essentially says. It requires the president to notify Congress within 48 hours of committing armed forces to military action and forbids armed forces from remaining for more than 60 days with a further 30-day withdrawal period without congressional authorization for use of military force, or a declaration of war by the United States. The resolution was passed by 2/3 of each of the House and Senate, overriding the veto of President Richard Nixon. Here's what Joe Biden released on the night of the attack of Operation Prosperity Guardian. Whether he actually released this or someone typed it for him, I can't confirm, but I'd be willing to go with the latter here. Not going to read the whole statement here, but we'll just get an idea of what Biden released here. So today, at my direction, U.S. military forces, together with the United Kingdom and support from Australia, Bahrain, Canada, and the Netherlands, successfully conducted strikes against a number of targets in Yemen and the Houthi rebels in exchange of freedom for navigation in one of the world's most vital waterways. So that's just a glimpse. I'm not reading that whole thing. Like I said, there's a good chance he probably didn't even type this in the first place, but there you have it. So this is genuinely a concern. Now, after the attacks, there was a whole mob of northern Yemenis, or the Houthis, that gathered. I mean, these are thousands and thousands of people protesting against what happened. I mean, this looks like the start of a potential... It looks like a resistance. And like I said, it's been reported that the bases that have been attacked that night were inactive military bases with no people inside. We'll have to fully confirm that, but that's what it claims here. Sources IRGC Quads TG. So, like I said, we'll have to confirm that. The Red Sea crisis is one of the most trending stories right now. It's not going away, and there's new information every single hour. We'll keep you guys updated, and we'll have more stories this week. See you next time.